Hello, Professor, and welcome to our presentation. We are LHRD 725 Group B. Our group members are Alex, Caitlin, Bentrell, Tia, and Robert, and today we are going to be discussing technological and informational literacies. So quickly going over the agenda, we're going to start off with an overview. That is going to be what is technological and informational literacy. Then we're going to go into an introduction of what email etiquette is. Our sources, theories, and concepts, we're going to discuss the theoretical foundation of email etiquette. The proposed contexts are where we're going to be able to use this email etiquette. Then we're going to quickly discuss a little workshop activity that we're going to be doing, putting our knowledge to the test. We are then going to discuss an evaluation plan. This section of the evaluation plan will measure how the workshops impact using quizzes, surveys, and real-world email tasks. Then we are going to finish off the workshop by concluding the importance of email etiquette within adult education.
Overview. Technological literacy is effectively using, managing, assessing, and understanding technology. It involves knowing how to operate digital tools, troubleshoot fundamental issues, and apply technology to solve problems in both personal and professional settings. Being technologically literate helps individuals adapt to fast changing digital environments and enhance productivity. Informational technology is locating, evaluating, and using information effectively. It includes critical thinking skills to assess the credibility of sources, synthesize data, and apply it to ethically. In today's information rich world, this literacy is essential for making informed decisions, supporting research, and participating in lifelong learning. Think before you send. Email Etiquette 101. Welcome to Email Etiquette 101. In today's professional world, knowing how to communicate clearly and respectfully through emails is essential. This session will cover key tips for writing effective emails that save time, avoid misunderstandings, and reflect professionalism. Good emails etiquette builds strong workplace relationships, prevent miscommunications, and it also leaves a positive impression. Whether sending a quick little update on what's going on around the workplace, as well as clarifying, making sure everything is structurally toned, and as well as making sure everything is clear when you send out a perfect email. Let's explore how to make every email count.
Sources, theories, and concepts. Theoretical foundation. Accommodation theory, people adjust communication styles, meaning you'll adjust your communication styles depending upon who and which you're communicating with. Politeness theory markers are things such as the beginning of the email, please, thank you, and things of that nature engaging in the email. Evolution of digital communication. Email is a hybrid format, of course. Context depending on communication norms. Professional relationship development through email. The way in which we usually communicate through the workplace is usually through email. So it's important that we're being effective and communicating, making sure the person on the other end receiving the email is able to clearly understand what it is that we're trying to get across to them. In 2025, cultural and generational differences in email expectations, this is the reason why it's important to ensure we're communicating effectively and clearly. Workshop implementation. 90-minute 90-minute interactive sessions with practical exercises. This gives people the chance to communicate, come up with different ideas, and create a workshop. Email analysts and makeover activities, engaging with others, seeing bouncing ideas, making sure everyone's on the same page when it comes to email, and understanding that they're getting it out as best as they can and effective and clear. Best practices, you want to make sure you have clear subject lines and proper greetings. Training on professional and closing signatures, making sure your signature at the bottom of your email is updated to your current title or role or information that needs to be in there. Guidelines for response times and attachments handling, peer review of email samples for immediate feedback.
Context, where to apply this training of email etiquette. You're going to use it in an academic setting, whether it's going back and forth between your counselor or between professors. They like to be addressed properly, and they are sticklers for it. In the professional setting, internal communication within an organization, you're going to be going back and forth between teams, different departments, and collaborating with them. And it's important to make sure that your information is clear and concise. Networking, setting yourself up for a good first impression. The same as job applications or graduate school applications or anything like that. It's also making sure that you look professional and you're clear in what you're trying to convey.
So the activity we're going to be looking at for this workshop is called Recreate the Email. The goal of this activity is to put your new knowledge of everything we just went over of email etiquette, put it to action. We want to ensure that you feel confident in your writing, and we also want to test your ability to communicate professionally and effectively in various email scenarios. So here is a little email example for this activity. So on the left-hand side, we have a good email. This reads, Dear Ms. Hissel, I was wondering if you were available to help me with section 3 of the math packet. I'm available on Friday after school if that works for you. Thank you, Emma Schaefer, period 3. This email is very professionally written. It is addressing her teacher correctly, starting with dear, and then addressing the professor's name. The body of the email is written professionally as well, questioning, asking if they were wondering if you were able to help with the section 3 of the math packet. She lists her availability, and then she also, asked if that works for you. The end is also, her signature is also very professional as well because she says her first and last name, and she also includes what period she is in. On the right-hand side, we have the bad email that starts off with, Hey, are you available after school on Friday to help me out with some of the math homework? I need a lot of help. Please get back to me ASAP. Thanks, Emma. As you can see the difference between these two emails, the good email is written professionally. The bad email is quite unprofessional. There are various grammar mistakes. There are words that are not spelled out fully, like instead of using the word you spelled Y-O-U, it is just transferred to the quick little letter U. The professor is not addressed professionally either. And also her signature line just has her first name. So this professor could have multiple Emmas in the class, doesn't know which period this Emma is from. So we want to make sure that we're attacking all those professional aspects of the email, especially addressing a professor or a teacher or essentially anyone, who you are trying to speak with professionally. So the rules for this activity is that you will only have 5 minutes to recreate your email, and you cannot use your laptop. The reason you cannot use your laptop is because, as we mentioned in the goals, we want to make sure that we test your knowledge that you had gained to use email etiquette effectively, and we don't want you to use AI. We want to see what you can come up with personally. So the instructions for this activity, step 1, you are going to pair into groups of 3. Step 2 is I will provide you an email, and you and your group will analyze that email. Step 3 is you're going to recreate the email so that it has better etiquette. And then step 4, once you are done recreating the email, you are going to present it to the class, and then the class will provide you feedback.
Awesome. So now let's get to the purpose of the evaluation. So evaluations help us determine if learners are actually walking away with practical skills and confidence to apply the email etiquette in real world situations. So in adult education, especially when focusing on critical literacies, it's essential to make sure that we deliver engaging content, but also evaluate on whether it actually made a real impact. So we're focusing on 3 key outcomes. Do they actually understand the etiquette principles? Can they apply them professionally? And do they feel confident writing emails on their own? So for the evaluation framework, we use the Kirkpatrick model, a widely recognized approach in adult learning and human resources development. So the model actually has 4 levels, but for this workshop, we're actually only focusing on the first 3. Level 1 being the reaction. So it's where we gather immediate feedback on learners' engagement and satisfaction. Level 2 is learning. Here we assess on how much knowledge students gain from the session. And then level 3 is behavior. So this goes a step further by looking at if they actually apply it actually in their realistic email draft task. So each level actually gives us a more holistic view on how successful the workshop is when it actually comes to meeting the learning outcomes. So in order to collect data, how we collect the information, is first and foremost, we're going to do a pre-training quiz. So this is going to like benchmark, give us a baseline of their understanding of email before actually delivering the training. Then we'll give a post-training quiz with the same questions to kind of see what knowledge they gained and how those differ. And then after the workshop, we'll ask learners to actually complete a confidence survey. So this will include questions on how confident they feel applying what they learned, whether they found the session useful. And then we'll also ask them to write a professional email a little bit down the line with a realistic scenario in play. So if I'm doing something specific to my job role, so we want them to write an email response to that so we can just make sure that they can apply this in the real world. So it's really a direct way to observe whether they actually are applying the content that they're learning. And then we'll use a rubric to assess the tone, structure, clarity, and professionalism. So the criteria, the success of the workshop means that we're not just waiting for people to show up. We want them to actually listen and understand. So we'll consider the training effective if 80% of the students improve their quiz scores from pre to post training. So this will show us what learning actually took place. We also want to see 90% of the students to report higher confidence levels for the workshop, because confidence is a strong indicator that they're willing to apply the skills after they learn them. And then lastly, at least 75% of the people should meet the expectations of their drafted email assignment using the rubric. That tells us that they actually put it into action. So these success markers, they directly connect back to the learning objectives, and they really help ensure us that we're supporting adult learners and being real world digital communication skills.
In conclusion, the importance of adult education, email proficiency directly connects the workplace readiness. Research shows that 57% of staff link emails to competency, bridges communication gaps between diverse groups, enhances employability and professional development, reduces frustration in educational and professional contexts, and supports adult learners' professional identity formation. This is a list of references that we have used to gather the information and data that we have collected today for this project. Thank you.